My favorite time of the year is springtime. Spring is my favorite season because to me the weather is perfect. There's a slight breeze, it's warm outside after a cold winter. The birds are chirping, the flowers are beginning to grow, and I get to be outside more, which I really enjoy. Some of you might enjoy winter better. You like being in the cold, and you like watching the snow fall, and you like playing in the snow. You like bundling up in your cold winter jacket. Or maybe some of you, your favorite season is fall. You like the change in the leaves, and the leaves turn colors, and it is a beautiful season, and it starts to get a little colder out. Maybe your favorite season is summer. Maybe it's because of no school. I do like that part. Maybe you love how hot it gets because you get to maybe go swimming. Today we're going to learn about fall and winter. So if those are your favorite seasons, you are in luck. So during the fall, we're going to talk about what happens during the fall time. In the fall, that is the season after summer. It's so hot, and as it becomes fall, the air gets a little bit cooler. The hours of sunlight gets shorter, so there's not as many hours. So because the air gets colder and the amount of sunlight goes down, it starts to get a little bit colder. The leaves change colors and fall off the trees. In fall, the animals start to get ready for winter. Now, we know that animals can't go shopping for winter coats like we get to during the fall to prepare for winter. So what do they do instead? If they can't go buy winter clothes, they get ready for winter by growing thick fur to keep warm. Some of them even have to fly or move to warmer places, and that's called migration. Maybe you see birds like geese start to fly south, and that's because they're migrating to warmer places during the winter. They eat lots of food so that they can get ready to hibernate or sleep through the winter time. So all of this begins to take place during fall. Now let's look at our seasons booklet. And did you know that spring and fall both have the same amount of hours of day? So if you remember in spring, we talked about there's 12 hours of daylight in the spring. And in the fall, there's also 12 hours of sunlight. So it gets to be a little less than summer when we said there's 14 hours. Another word for fall is autumn. So that's what our booklet calls fall, is autumn. This is page 11. When you think of autumn or fall, what do you think of? Maybe you think of the air getting colder. Maybe you think of the leaves changing colors. Maybe you think of wearing some cooler clothes or warmer clothes to stay warm. Maybe you think of not only the leaves changing colors, but maybe you think of the leaves falling to the ground. Maybe you think about the animals that have to prepare for winter. So whatever you think of, you're going to write inside of the apples here. And then after you do that, we're going to turn to page 13. During autumn, the precipitation would look like this. It's not snowing quite yet. It's not cold enough yet. So maybe it's still raining at times. Maybe it's foggy. I think we see a lot of fog during the fall time. So draw the precipitation that you would see in the fall. During autumn, I would wear this. One thing that I would wear is maybe some sweatshirts or some jeans. It's starting to get too cold for shorts and t-shirts. So I would bundle up a little bit more. Maybe I'll start to wear a hat during the fall. maybe you start to wear some of the same things that I would. Or maybe you are a brave one and still wear shorts during the fall. Okay, now let's talk about winter. Winter is the coldest time of the year, and not really my favorite time of the year because it's too cold for me, but maybe it's your favorite because it is so cold. In winter, there are fewer hours of sunlight, so winter is the season that gets the least amount of sunlight. Did you know that there are only 9 hours of sunlight during winter time? That's quite a bit less than summer, and even spring and fall. Less sunlight means that some of the plants begin to die. So the last of the leaves fall off the trees, and if you look behind me, it looks like the leaves still haven't grown yet in the spring because it's still been kind of cold here. Do you remember when I showed you that video of all the snow? That's what the trees still look like from the winter. So in the winter, there's no leaves at all. There are fewer plants in the winter, which also means that there's not as much food for the animals to eat. So that's why all the animals have to eat a lot in the fall so that they can get ready to hibernate during the winter. Some animals look for food, but others eat food and they store it in their tummies all during fall and winter. Some of them sleep all the way through winter. How would you like that? To sleep all the way through winter and wake up in the springtime. Maybe you would like that. I think it would be kind of nice to sleep all the way through winter time. That's called hibernation. So animals that sleep through spring hibernate. Now let's take out our seasons booklet again and look at winter. This is page 17. We're going to draw the thermometer, what the thermometer would look like during the winter time. Now if you remember from the spring, or from summertime, this mercury inside the thermometer, because it was really hot outside, this mercury expanded and got bigger, and it went all the way up because it was so hot outside. So if it's kind of cold outside, this mercury isn't going to get bigger as much. So it's not going to be as hot. It's not going to rise as much. Maybe winter only is that much. Or maybe it's so cold that it only rises to this first line here. So during the winter, the thermometer shows that it's not very warm outside. It's pretty cold. So you can color that now and pause the video, or I'm going to show you the next page. During winter, the trees look like this. Do we see many leaves on the trees during the fall, or during the winter? Not many. They've all fallen to the ground during fall. So maybe you see some snow on the trees. Maybe you only see the twigs and branches without any leaves on them. So you can draw the trees that you might see during the wintertime. And the last thing that we have is a compare and contrast between spring and autumn or fall. So we're going to do that tomorrow. If you would like to get started on it today, you can, but we're going to look more at it tomorrow.